A dub delay is a beautiful process where you take a kind of a busy pattern maybe, and just for one moment, you send a little bit of that busy pattern to a big delay, an echo delay. So you might have something really busy like wow, 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 wow. And just one of the wows, you send off to that delay and it starts echoing. And it echoes over a long time. And then it tails down to silence. And then you choose another moment to send a little thing to the dub delay. And the movement that's in that knocks on over so much time, and you really get to paint with sound and taste it over a long time. Let me show you an example. Again, we're doing the simplest sequencer into the simplest sound source. Now to set this up, the best way is probably to create a new return track. And on that return track, we simply drag a delay unit and make it 100% wet. That's important. We set the feedback to quite high as well. Be careful because some things, when you set the feedback high, it gets incredibly loud. So just be careful of that. And so being able to influence this with a tactile interface would be really, really valuable. So setting up a MIDI controller here would be a good idea. But the philosophy is as follows. We play our pattern, and every now and then we send to the dub delay a little thing. And we let it tail off. In fact, let's make it even more clear by adding some reverb to the dub delay so we can really hear the difference. And then we just stop. So you see what I'm doing here, right? I'm flicking it up. And so the sounds of our loop knock on gradually over time. And things get even more interesting when there's some modulation already in the sound source, because then those changes, they get reflected in these long echoes and it becomes a sort of a sculpture that's slowly evolving. Let me, for example, do a steps, and let me make a pattern something like this and map it to the time parameter. So some of our notes are going to be longer than others. And let's make it a polymeter so that it's not always the same. So now when we add in some dub delay, in the context of a groove, let it tail down. See, just one hit creates like a burst of interest. Let me put in some more polymetery stuff here, because otherwise our loop is a little bit stale. Fundamental principle of dub delays. And as you saw, we added some reverb onto there. So there's also many other ways in which you can turn this secondary layer into something that sounds even more different from the original. Some other ideas might be pitch shifting things, filtering things, essentially any of the other effect treatments that we're talking about in this course. There's many ways of making the dub effect sound quite different from the original. In the hardware world, I've got this pedal called the Benny Dub pedal. I saw Surgeon play with it once. And so essentially you've got very big knobs for all of the main functions, such as speeding up and slowing down the beat, or increasing or decreasing the feedback. You also have the ability to loop the input. That exists also digitally if you want to infinitely have something knock on, which can be very good also to resample things. And once you've got a long feedbacking loop going on, it can be really fun to suddenly speed it up and slow it down, because that's going to create this kind of warbly pitching up or pitching down tail. Let me show you what that sounds like real quick. So we've set it to infinite here, right? So we've set it to infinite and it's going to keep going. And so now if we change the time, here it goes all the way up. or it goes all the way down. This creates a kind of a wet feeling that I really, really like, because it's also very obvious that a human is doing it, you know? In our world where everything can be automated so perfectly, having someone just kind of rip on the speed of a delay like that, I don't know, don't overdo it because it can be exhausting, but it can give a moment of like, ooh, something not quantized to the grid is happening here. Enough theory about dub delays, let's put it into practice in the triangle method. To put dub delays into practice, we want to add something to the groove that's in front of us on the page so far, right? But in order to put the dub delay onto something interesting, I want to try something first. Bear with me. The vinyl player. A friend of mine gave me some weird effects vinyls and I want to sample from them and then put the dub delay on the samples. So what have we got? We've got 100 discotheque jingles, sound effects for theater, also in Dutch, stereo test sound effects. We're just going to put some of them on and we're going to start recording. And the moment I have enough for this track, I'm going to stop recording.
It's Wednesday. It's Thursday. It's Friday. It's Saturday. Nice one.
Good, nice one. This is so insane. The nice one is my favorite. That's so insane.
Do you remember?
I think we've had enough of this.
A disco old time classic.
Just as I say that, we would have missed that. There, that disco was maybe something cool. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's record the next one on a new channel. So let's play this one. I like that. It's a cute little sound. Put that into a dub delay. Beautiful. There's so much more you could do with that. Too bad we don't have endless time in this video. This seems almost absurd, but I really feel like this is going to sound well in a dub delay. So let's put a dub delay on there in a return track. Let's put on some really big splashy delay and then also some reverb. What would be a good one? Maybe, I don't really know Valhalla Supermassive very well. Let's try that. Let's put this sound into a sampler. First I'll just consolidate it, then drag it into the sampler, then find where it starts. To use the triangle method, we find some way of sequencing. Here, let's use that Euclidean sequencer again. I would by default always kind of put it like this. Workshop it a little bit. That's it. So now we map this dub delay to a parameter here. So I can be like, and then I just close it down, wait for it to tail off. That's cool. And then we're going to record that. So these vinyl recordings, by the way, I'm just going to deactivate them and put them at the bottom of my composition so that I don't pay attention to them because we don't need them for now. Maybe we go digging in them later for something else. We're doing now the triangle method with a Euclidean sequencer, a sampler, and as effect, some dub delay. And so we're going to make a new audio track and we're going to record. You could either record this straight up element, but actually I think I'm more interested only in the dub delay. So I'm going to hit record. I'm going to turn back on the drums. Hit record. Leave lots of space because it can get too busy. Not bad. You You can do it whenever suits you. Sometimes it's cool to maybe think of it as either a marker or a turnaround in terms of phrasing. A marker is what happens at the start of a musical phrase. A turnaround is what happens at the end of a musical phrase. But you can place it anywhere in the middle as well. See, now I'm going to do a turnaround. But it keeps splashing out over the start as well, so it's also kind of a marker. Cool, let's just call it a day. I kind of feel like maybe I want to be more precise about where I place it. I'm going to just do Command E to snip this and just place it straight on the first moment. And maybe mute the moment when it's like the turnaround. Maybe just have it splash out. And if we want to go even further, we can align it more narrowly on the grid to take full control over this, right? It's very intentional now. It's not loose at all anymore. It's very, very precise. We're going to delete the original as usual. Going to keep our stuff nicely colored. And now we've applied the triangle method by generating material for ourselves. We're leaving lots of space and giving ourselves lots of options for the rest of this composition. You should explore to see how far you can take this technique, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.